y'all got your name from Bonnie and Clyde, and I read that and it didn't make sense to me, and then I found out it's their last names.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay, what inspired that? I mean, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Like when I met y'all and you said your name was Parker Barrow. Parker, why can't I talk?
Parker Barrow.
It's a tongue twister too.
Barrow.
Where's our R's?
We were traveling a lot, and we wanted something for the name that would kind of connect us and tell our story. And we just felt like we're constantly on the run, to something rather than from something. Like
I was like, you gotta qualify that again.
Thankfully.
Yeah,
We're just constantly on the run.
just living life on the run, man. But no, we thought it was cool, and we tend to focus more on the love aspect of the Bonnie and Clyde story, and I think that's why they're kind of mentioned among the first mention with those like classic outlaws, is because they did it all together, and that's kind of how we've lived our lives for the last 5 years, and so we decided to name our bands after some outlaws.
More on the love, less on the murder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll keep the murder out of it. We did our research. I mean, we watched a couple documentaries, and we were like, I think it'll be okay. So,
People will understand.
So far, it's been okay, but it kind of rings true to kind of the way we live our lives. We're traveling almost 24/7. We're always on the road, and but prior to this band, before we released any original music, we went by the 81 Run, which was, we used to drive down Highway 81 all the time, and felt like with the release of new music, we wanted to step away from like a cover band kind of scene and go into the original side of things, and we had a lot of ideas with the Parker Barrow idea, so yeah.
Where's Highway 81?
Takes you straight from once you get past Knoxville, takes you straight all the way up the East Coast.
Honestly, up to like New York, and I don't know exactly how far up it goes, but I originally grew up in Maryland, and there's two roads that you get on to go from Maryland to Nashville, and it's 81 and 40.
Yeah.
Basically, so when we first started, we were doing a lot of shows back in my hometown. That's just where I had connections before I moved and everything, so it was like twice a week, up and down.
Yeah.
81,
all the
81,
time.
81, yeah.
Dang,
I could
it's a long stretch.
drive it sleeping at this point.
That's crazy. I don't know if we ever had anybody on the show who came from Maryland before.
Yeah.
Actually, we
There-
have.
We
Have
have?
you?
Simon Ye, the saxophonist. He's
Oh,
from
yeah.
Maryland.
Heck yeah. I got
You guys
meat
know
on
each other,
Simon.
right?
Yeah, of course.
I honestly, when we first met, I grew up in Alabama, so we met at a whiskey jam. We were both going to see a mutual friend, and the first string of shows we did was Delaware, Maryland, and I had never been north of like South Carolina. So
That's what she tells you. I've never been north of South Carolina. I was like, that's not north.
I couldn't have pointed Maryland out on a map if you told me like exactly where it was. I'd be like, I have no idea that was even a state.
So how did you meet? Now so you're at Whiskey Jam.
Yeah.
Did you come down to Nashville to do music, and you came up to Nashville to do music? And
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep, it was just a random thing. We had both kind of gone to see the same person play a Whiskey Jam. I had actually just driven back from Maryland like 10 hours and got there at showtime, and I walk in and she's standing there with my buddy's girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, whoa. But we chatted a little bit that night, and it was one of those things where the singer in my band at the time just decided like on a Tuesday that she was done, and we had tickets sold for a show that Thursday. So I'm like, I slid in her DMs and I was like, please come sing with my band. We need somebody. She knew none of our songs. We knew none of her songs. So it was an absolute disaster, but we made it through that first one, and still after it to this day. But
it's funny. I had just turned 21 like the day before.
Oh,
so it was my first time going out to a bar, and I meet Dylan, and he's like, "Do you want to go on the road?" A couple weeks later, and
Is this what bars are like?
Yeah, I was like, "Wow, this works out real well." So I texted my mom. I was like, "Mom, I guess is this okay? Like, can I do this? Like, can I get in a stranger with in a van with a stranger and drive to Delaware?" And she's like, "Can I have his number and his location and his parents' names?" And I'm like, "If that's what
Social Security number."
Your mom's like, in the 70s, we did all sorts
Yeah.
of crazy shit. I don't know how old you are.
That's exactly what she would do. Yeah. So she thankfully said yes, because I'd been in Nashville for about 4 months at that point, and I was just playing acoustic shows. And honestly, I'd never even played with a band before. I was kind of doing a solo artist thing, and met Dylan, and just kind of all that formed, and it was wild. It was crazy.
Wow.
So yeah.
Good times.
And now
Scared to
y'all
death.
got married this last year.
We did.
We did, yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So
very much.
you went to a bar for
A
the
bar.
first time,
Yep.
joined a band, and then married.
Married a
You
drummer.
married the first guy you met at the bar.
Honestly, legally.
There's
I
good
was
hours
legally
just
met
out
at the
there.
bar.
I just happened to be the first one, right?
Could have been anybody.
I wasn't gonna take my chances after that. I was like, no, I've heard these stories.
I was hearing earlier today that people in arranged marriages like tend to be happier, and I think it's because
Yeah.
you get stuck with somebody and you learn how to love them,
Yeah.
and it's like you just went with that. You went with you're like
You're usually
You're like,
getting paid for those in some way too. So
True.
that's nice. But like, why spend 8 years searching every bar for every man that you're gonna have to figure out what they're good or bad or
Yeah.
whatever? It's just like pick one,
Yeah.
stick with it.
And honestly, for us, like on that drive to Delaware, you spend 14 hours with someone, like you get to know them. It's very easy, and right off the bat, I mean, we were instantly kind of best friends. Just like it took a while for us to even get into the dating part of anything, because we were like, it's real messy because it's a band, and you know how that works out, and all those things that you have to. And for us, like music is our only thing that we're gonna do. So that takes priority, and it took a lot of priority in the beginnings of our relationship of like, we're not gonna mess up doing music, so if this is it, this is gonna be it.
It's
like
gotta be
there's
it,
no
yeah.
we're not gonna fool around here and like make this hard for everyone. So.
Otherwise, you find yourself in a real Fleetwood Mac situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
We're trying to avoid that. So we were like, well, we've spent every day together for the past like year and a half. Like it's time for us to we could date.
That's
We
the
could date
thing
now.
that's crazy too about like us meeting is we went out on the road together, and from the
Didn't-
day of meeting to today, we've only spent like 8 days apart in the last
Yeah.
5 years. So
Oh,
like
wow.
Yeah.
we work together, we eat together. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like everything we do is
traveling
together. We
together.
travel together. Before we kind of got going, we were living in a 32-foot like beat up old RV like in the Walmart parking lot in Mount Juliet. Like,
If
so
you can
it
make
was
it
just
through that, you can make it through
Yeah.
marriage with someone.
Yeah.
Like that was
for sure.
we had no heat, no
Nothing,
AC,
nothing.
just us and our dog, and we were like, all right, well,
Yeah.
we'll survive anything at
Yeah.
this
For
point.
richer or for poorer
Yeah,
health when you
literally.
start at poorer.
Yeah.
for sure.
And then you can only move on up.
And
Right.
it was poor. Like there was no poorer than we were Poe. We couldn't afford the other O and the R. So
Yeah.
So that was 5 years ago about you, Sam?
Yeah, we met in 2019. So Yeah.
So you guys, okay. Man, it's weird to think, like, in my mind, 5 years ago was like 2008.
yeah,
it's
right,
crazy,
exactly.
man. It's crazy. It's 2024 all of a sudden, and it's like I'm old. You know what I mean? Like my childhood.
He's old.
It just happened.
There's guys that are going in the Hall of Fame in the NFL that I watched as a kid, and it's like, how the heck does that happen all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Like the guys in the Hall of Fame used to be old guys. Now they're like almost younger than me. So
Ooh, that's kind of
Yeah, it's not a
good.
good feeling.
That's not the best.
Not a good feeling.
Yeah.
No. So you guys started essentially right before COVID hit.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was. We
Great
met
time
in
to start a band.
we met in February of 2019. We toured that whole year, and then in February of 2020 is kind of when everything hit the fan, and we actually released our first EP in May of 2020, and we were at the time living in Maryland. We kind of got stuck there because travel restrictions and all that kind of stuff, and we were with his family, and we were like, let's just stay here and figure out what's going on before we try and like starve ourselves out trying to do this still. So we waited. We were only off for like a couple of weeks, honestly, and then we
crazy.
started touring again in May, and toured the whole South for like
Yeah.
for a long time.
The only place you could tour.
Only
Yeah,
the South.
it was only the South.
COVID
Yeah.
did not exist
No.
south of North Carolina.
Yeah.
At least not in the
It
small
was-
towns.
Yeah, they had it for like a month, and we were like, we're over it. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
So we.
Why is grandma? She's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, people took
Now-
a real, like, if you're going to die, go ahead
Yeah,
mentality
right.
real fast.
Real fast.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
this is fine.
Yeah. So
I went to. Have you guys ever heard of Put-in-Bay, Ohio?
no.
Fun place to tour. It
Yeah.
honestly would probably fit y'all's vibe. But Put-in-Bay, Ohio, is this little island, on one of the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
And so it's like 8 hours north of here. And they have like their own little mini Broadway kind of energy of a bunch of, so they hire a lot of people from Nashville to come up. And so I went up there with a buddy during peak COVID. And he was a Broadway musician for a long time. Well, I'll shout him out, Judd Huffman. He was on the show recently. Yeah. But he was a Broadway musician for a long time, but now he travels and like there's a lot of actually Scottsdale, Arizona's like this too. There's a lot of little towns that will have like their own little version of Broadway where they try to do the Nashville thing.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
But it's like a little party island.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
No doubt.
We went up there during COVID and
Yeah.
I was kind of like, well, it'd be nice to get out actually. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And you go up there and there was just like 30 people in
Oh,
a
gosh.
swimming pool together and drinking
This is
beer.
safe.
And you're like, whoa. Meanwhile, the rest of the country is like
Yeah, right. Yeah.
looking like Darth Vader and staying inside. But
Yeah.
Put-in Bay, no, they're going for it.
That's crazy. We had to adjust everywhere we went. Like, all right, so what are the rules here?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
it was everywhere. But we probably played more shows in 2020 than we played in a
wild.
long time. We were like, Dylan's made a ton of connections. He's been touring for about 10 years?
Something like that.
Close to 10 years. And I made a lot of friends through like in the Southeast of like doing a solo thing, so we kind of all bonded together and we were like, what can we do to put on shows? And it was honestly a great year for us.
We had a blast, man. It was a good time.
Do you feel like it helped that like a majority of the major artists were off the road?
Yeah, it definitely
1,000%.
helped.
It opened up a lot of opportunities that wouldn't have been there otherwise, and it also gave us a chance to like go in and play whatever type of show, because a lot of times in the bars, like, you're having to play cover music and you're having to, fit whatever bill they want you to fit. With this, it was super laid back. We might be in a room that holds like 300 and there was only allowed to be like, 50 people in there.
Yeah.
So it was like all of a sudden going from bars to almost playing like a listening room atmosphere where people had to be sitting down. And it was cool because it was like people are listening to what we're doing.
They
And
got no choice.
Yeah.
No
dancing
this is
on
the
this
only
floor.
thing they're allowed to do right now.
You can
so.
drink at your seat only.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I mean, obviously not all of that whole situation was good, but we tried to find a silver lining and everything. And there was definitely some things in there that worked in our benefit and we're thankful for and are better off because of it. Yeah. So
when you're touring, especially like if you're a touring artist, you feel a lot of pressure of like being on the road. Like you either road dog or don't, like Rob Lyons, like he always says that, and that's how we feel because we love to be on the road. And as hard as you're working, there's someone else working 10 times harder than you. So you're always trying to play catch up. And I felt like 2020 gave us all kind of a chance to like sit back, look at ourselves, and like check ourselves at the door when we were going out and playing shows. Like that, we're just lucky enough to be able to do this in general. So,
right. Meantime, I just stayed home and played video games for you and the wife. Like, that's pretty much it.
I did a bunch of puzzles on the off time.
I hung out with my dog a whole lot.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
It was his best year for sure. Went to the dog park like 3 times a week.
Right.
You
I
know?
love that.
Now, speaking of dancing in bars,
Yeah.
probably about that time to play the first song.
Yeah.
What are y'all gonna play for us?
So first one we're gonna play is called "Where the Bluebird Goes."
Yeah.
Woke up this morning and I found a feather, so I put it in my hat. I've been searching for warm weather, so I took a walk and laid in the grass. As the southern wind blew, I heard you call my name. I've been wondering where you've been, but I looked up into the sky, and to my surprise I saw a bluebird on a maple limb. And though it won't stay for long, 'cause it seemed places I've only seen in dreams, but it made me think, oh, it made me think. It ain't been easy, 'cause life comes at you fast, when the ones you love are leaving, ain't never coming back. There ain't no sense in crying I put it in my hand.
Tell me about Jukebox Gypsies. I assume you came to our studio because we had a jukebox. Like, that must have been
Yeah.
the sales
That was the
point.
selling point for us, for sure.
I mean, we scoured,
yeah.
like Googled every, like we were even asking Jeeves, like
Ask it.
that's how bad it
I
was.
thought he was dead.
We time traveled.
dig him up out of
to
his
find this
coffin.
jukebox.
Yeah. But no, that was 100%, man. Y'all have the coolest jukebox in Nashville, hands
Oh,
down.
wow, thank
so,
you.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is a story behind this jukebox.
Dun, dun, dun.
The story is I found it for $100. That's not.
Oh, wait,
what's
no,
the
sorry. In my
What's
mind,
the
I was thinking
story?
of a cigarette machine. Never mind.
Oh yeah, the cigarette machine has more of a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jukebox is just an old guy down in Manchester, Tennessee,
Nice.
and he had in a storage unit, and it was looking pretty sad.
Yeah.
And so I spent a few weekends kind of polishing it and restoring the lights and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so why Jukebox Gypsies? I know you guys kind of live a gypsy lifestyle. Is that
yeah,
part of
for
it?
sure. And it's one of the lyrics from our song "Peace, Love, Rock and Roll," and we kind of felt like it was a cool idea to like. We at our last album or our last EP, we went by like a namesake of a title of a song, and felt like it was kind of cool to pull from a lyric in a song, and it really is just kind of life we live. We feel very gypsy-like in the way that we do things, and with the record, it kind of just all felt very fitting for this new brand, the turnover of Parker Barrow, because we kind of released it all like with the like package of the gypsy life and like doing all that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you identify with gypsies just because of how much touring you do, or
Yeah.
It's really just the.
or is it the stealing things
Oh,
and robbing?
Well, back to Bonnie and
Back
Clyde.
to the Bonnie and Clyde, yeah.
Sorry, we don't mean to
Giving us
call
some
ourselves out here.
Real outlaw energy.
Real,
happening.
yeah.
And you guys just like, there's no murder.
No murder.
That's why I wear a hat so people can't identify me. Oh no.
Yeah, it was definitely just like kind of the nomadic lifestyle. We love, like, it's almost sad when we get home
Yeah.
after being out on the road for a couple weeks. It's like, man, we really got to just
Go back.
be here
Like-
for a couple days before we do this again.
Yeah.
So we would prefer being out on the road. I mean, we would live on the road if the schedule would
Yeah.
allow it. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. And the whole Jukebox Gypsies thing, like Megan said, it's from one of the lines in our song, and it's just kind of talking about that lifestyle and how we like to live when we can afford to.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I am very happy that you love that,
Yeah.
because I'm the exact opposite. I'm like,
There-
you can't pry me from my house.
Right.
Like, you gotta-
Honestly, it is. It's not for everybody,
You're
and that is
right.
something that we understand. Thankfully, we have found a group of people with our band that also enjoy it the way that we do. We like to take our time and travel and see the things and eat the food, and it's not like a show to show type. We as often as we can, we like to stop in a city and check it out, because we have a whole magnet board on our fridge in our RV where we just like collect them and
We're
kinda-
trying to get the whole map.
trying to get the whole map. That's our goal for
We're doing really good on the
2024.
East Coast. We got.
Yeah.
I don't know if we buy
West.
these things at Love's truck stops.
Yeah.
And like there's some places that just don't have Love's.
They
It's
don't
like,
have
where are we
Loves.
going to get our magnet
Yeah.
from? So
Going to order on Amazon. I don't know if it counts that way.
I think there's other gas stations out there.
yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you- I
we're
don't know if you
partial. We're
heard.
real partial.
We're real partial to
Yeah.
loves.
Shout out Pilot.
Oh man. The okay, so you're collecting the magnets, and
Yeah.
that's something super dumb, but but I care about it.
Yeah.
Why magnets? Why not spoons?
Well, honestly,
Spoon card.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, silver spoons is a popular thing. You
Is
buy
that a thing?
Yeah, you buy a spoon at every place
Megan
you go.
Kane, we're
That's a
going
great
to
idea.
spoons.
It's an old people thing.
Well, the thing is, like, anytime we do, or we have silverware in our house, it all disappears. So I don't know what happens to all of that.
All right,
So
well,
we.
that one will work.
In our van, when we were touring in our van, we did stickers, and stickers
Okay.
was way easier. We kind of got
Right, that's what I was thinking.
more of a spectrum of like we played at this bar. We can't really get a magnet from a bar, so we were trying to find a happy medium. The RV's new, so we're not trying to get like all that sticker
We didn't want the
residue
sticker goo.
on it.
The magnets aren't
Yeah.
permanent. We
Yeah.
don't know what we're going to do with this thing in
Yeah.
5 years. So it was like, let's try to keep that resale
Try to
value.
keep it. So we went with the
and-
broad spectrum of magnets.
Yeah.
And it sounds like and you're saying you guys are mostly been out on the East Coast so far.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
as much in the West.
We did do some dates in California this past year, and we're gonna
Nice.
go back out this year. But it's that's like maybe 8 or 10 shows a year.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like our bread and butters
It's out
basically.
East Coast,
I mean, it's
Southeast.
closer,
Yeah.
right? Like that's just
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
makes it
Definitely
easier.
more central.
Mm-hmm.
Now we were talking. I was talking to them beforehand, and y'all mentioned you played at the Casbah
Yeah.
in our native home of San Diego.
Yes, we
Oh,
did.
The
Yeah.
Casbah was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We were very fortunate enough to get on a tour with a friend of ours, Tanner Essery, big Texas artist, and he took us out to the West Coast. And we got to open for him at the Casbah, and I'd never been to California in general, so going over there, we got to drive pretty much the whole entire state for all of the
that's
shows
awesome.
we were playing.
What time of
and
year was it? Like summer?
it
winter?
was June.
It was June
It was June gloom.
man. We hit the June
Unfortunately,
gloom.
yeah.
We did get a great sunset at the Sunset
Yeah.
Cliffs in San Diego. that
Sunset
night.
Cliffs.
Saw the green flash,
My
which
grandma-
was
Yeah.
awesome. You know,
My grandma lives about. Well, she basically lives in Sunset Cliffs. She
Yeah,
lives-
she's like
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
there's,
Yeah.
a, there's a
we
hill.
might have watched it
Yeah.
from her
At the
front
hill.
from her front porch.
It was insane. It was one of the most incredible sunsets I've ever seen. So definitely, we went in the water. It was freezing, but
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
just do it
You
just
had
because you're there.
See, I feel like you guys. I mean, it'd be about finding the right audience and the right places. But I feel like you guys would play well in California.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
California was a great audience for us. We played in San Diego. We did Morro Bay. We did Petaluma, and we did Felton, California.
We definitely felt at home.
But we felt
out
like
there, like it was. It was a completely different experience than anything we had done before, and all the shows were great. We just it was everything was brand new, and the thing
Yeah.
that was cool about like when you're driving up the coast, every time you go around a little bend in the road, the entire geography changes.
Yeah.
Where like you can drive up 95 and look at the same thing
Thank you.
for 10
Yeah.
hours, 20
we
hours.
touched
like-
clouds, and then we went down the mountain, and then we saw the ocean, and that was
Well,
crazy.
people from San Diego
Never-
do love to say. They love to say you can go snowboarding and surfing
Yeah.
the same day.
Yeah, you can.
The reality is like kinda.
Yeah.
I guess
did-
you could.
I
but
did it one time.
Did you?
Did you really?
What a
You got
long
You
ass
got
day.
to. Yeah.
It was.
You were in pain the next day, I'm sure.
Well, I was like 18.
Okay,
So.
yeah,
so
you
you're
don't
probably
get
Feel
pain
no
back
pain
then.
at
Yeah.
18.
No, that's one thing I say about out here is that like you can go 100 miles in every direction
Yeah.
and it still looks the same.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
California is just like so
It's
many
10
different
miles.
diversity of.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The crazy thing we have this. Have you ever heard of microclimates?
No.
So in San Diego, it's like normal on the news to talk about the microclimates,
Mm-hmm.
or at least the weather news.
We like to be special.
To be fair, my dad's weirdly obsessed with weather, so maybe it's just normal for my household.
Okay.
Gotcha, gotcha.
That actually might just be my childhood. In
Yeah.
either case, a microclimate's like a smaller climate. So think about Nashville.
Never
Y'all have
guessed.
toured a lot. Go
Yeah.
100 miles in any direction. Weather's probably about
About
the
the
Just
same.
same.
about the same.
Yeah.
Now, unless there's a storm coming through, but then it's going to go to the place you're from anyway,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to San Diego, you can drive 15 minutes and it can be 15 degrees cooler.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
of how the ocean is, and
Yeah.
there's valleys and mountains and desert and all those things. And so if you're super hot, like I had a day that was, it was 95 degrees inland. I drove 20 minutes to the coast. It was 15 degrees cooler.
It's like,
That's
oh, it's
crazy.
And I cooled off.
Just gonna stay
Yeah.
here for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can kind of pick your own adventure.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That's
Here
very
you're
true.
just trapped.
You're
Like Groundhog lied to us.
We were
No
so
joke.
mad. It was like not cool, dude.
Did you already do the groundhog thing? Does that already happen?
It
That
did.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he said
February
spring was
2nd.
coming.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a liar.
That day, this
Get
was-
that groundhog.
This was the first
Punxsutawney
year
Phil.
I remembered in advance that it was going to be Groundhog's Day the next morning.
Never happened to me before.
Right? Yeah.
I wake
so-
up like, oh, the groundhog said it was gonna be spring. That's cool.
Like, great. Why do we still do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
set,
the weirdest tradition I think America has held like
Oh, yeah,
consistently
sure.
for the past 100 years.
I set my alarm to be "I've Got You, Babe" by
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher because that's the song that he wakes up to in the
Yeah.
movie
Right.
every morning.
No doubt. That way you remember.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
Groundhog's
Well,
Day.
and Wesley and I were driving to a bachelor party down in New Orleans that day, And so I kept just telling everybody, I'm like, hey, if Groundhog's Day happens, we're going to relive this day over and over again.
Yeah.
So no matter how shitty it is, just remember, this is the starting point.
Yeah.
We get to redo this.
Heck yeah.
It was a fine day.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations for a bachelor's trip in New Orleans and making it back alive. That's,
Yeah.
Thank you.
An
And
accomplishment.
we went during the start of Mardi Gras.
Yeah, wow. Dude.
Yeah.
Our first time to New Orleans and Mardi Gras. It was amazing.
First time I ever went, it was Red Dress Week, and that was one of the most funnest experiences I've ever had.
What is red
I've never
dress?
heard of that.
Everyone wears a red dress.
The guys
What?
too?
Guys too?
Everyone. Everyone wears a red dress. So
New Orleans is crazy.
you go downtown. It's a trippy city. Like you
Yeah.
go downtown, you're like, what the heck's happening here? But they have their own little thing, and it's Red Dress Day, and it's
Why?
like everyone goes out to bars in red dresses, and it's incredible.
There's got to be a history behind
Oh,
that.
I'm
yeah.
sure I didn't
right?
look it up, but I was like 19.
That
Wesley's
whole
on it,
city.
don't worry.
At
That whole
19,
city.
any excuse to wear a red dress is a good one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They have
know.
so many of their own traditions that no one else does.
Yeah.
Their own holidays,
They're like a
their
different
own
country.
weird things. They really are.
Yeah.
Like when we went, it felt a little bit like a foreign country.
It kind of is. It's its
Yeah.
own little thing. Like I went and we bar hopped and we did the whole thing and we saw the floats. Like we went to the float factory for all the Mardi Gras floats and
Oh, wow.
it was crazy. Like New Orleans is a wild city. It's one of my favorites though. It's one of my favorites to go to and visit.
So apparently,
Wes is-
yeah,
yeah.
Red Dress. It was started as a fundraiser for local charities.
Okay.
And that was just like kind of like wearing like the breast cancer pin or the
yeah.
bracelets for other things
Gotcha.
or whatever. I guess that's how it started. Now,
Yeah,
now it's a
now
whole
it's-
thing.
it's a
apparently.
whole
That's
thing.
Wild.
Mardi
It's
Gras too. Like
the
Wesley and I
most-
were there supporting charities.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We need to bring Red Dress Day to Nashville. Let's, see if
I
we
know.
can-
I never get an opportunity to wear my red dress.
Now, have you all played in New Orleans?
We haven't. We played in Louisiana for the first time this year. We did Bossier City, really cool venue out there called Hurricane Alley.
Yeah.
Just super. They have this like retractable roof on their outside stage. It's like state of the art. It was really cool. And then what was it? We did
We did the
Revelry down in Baton Rouge.
And then we played that the evening of the Alabama-Auburn game. And I'm a big Alabama fan, so
That's an understatement.
watching Alabama football
The-
in Baton Rouge during the Iron Bowl is like your worst nightmare as an Alabama fan. It was horrible.
I mean,
Yeah.
Alabama seems to be like one of the top into football peoples.
Oh yeah,
Like-
we're up there.
Alabama,
Minnesota.
Texas.
Yeah.
Minnesota?
Yeah, for
Well, they don't have much else going on over
Green
there,
Bay.
so.
Yeah, for the college football.
Oh yeah, for college football.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But everybody I've ever met from Alabama was into football.
the only thing worse than Alabama fans is LSU fans. Kidding.
But that's only coming from an Alabama
yeah,
fan.
that's coming from Alabama. But watching it in LSU or at LSU during the Iron Bowl was horrible. I would not recommend it to anyone.
It would not matter to me.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
okay.
like-
That's okay.
I'd be there like, oh, look, people are tossing a ball back and forth. Fun.
Yeah, no, zero. Like I do not follow any sports
No
at all.
She will
sports.
fight somebody in a bar over
Yeah,
Alabama
I'm
football.
aggressive.
Like she don't mess around. I leave her alone on Saturdays in the
Yeah.
fall. She does her thing.
Now, you have an incredible voice, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I feel like it's very bluesy,
Hey.
which like obviously is totally a part of your band and everything.
Yeah.
This is a weird question, but is the style of your band like going into like the bluesy rocky sound?
Mm-hmm.
Is that based on the fact that you just naturally have a bluesy rocky voice, or do you have a bluesy rocky voice
Because of the
to
band.
work for the band?
Honestly, it's a little bit of both. Like I said earlier, like I started doing music as an acoustic artist, and I grew up on country music. Like that was kind of my whole thing with my parents and just old country music. And I like Loretta Lynn was one of the first, like Coal Miner's Daughter was one of the first songs I ever learned. So very old school country side of things. And when I met Dylan, his family and all that's very Black Crowes, very like Led Zeppelin, and having that element.
Oh, you walked in and I was like, you look like Led Zeppelin today.
So
Nailed it.
It was the whole thing, and then I realized with singing country music, I was trying to be somebody. I was trying to be like around with my peers. I was trying to level out with like what I should sound like, and I mean, again, back to Taylor Swift briefly, but a girl with a guitar with blonde hair singing music, like you're kind of put into a box of this is where you should live, is in this country music zone. And whenever I started touring with the band, and we started kind of evolving our own sound and stepping away from cover music, and I just my voice drifted towards the blues rock sound. I felt comfortable. I felt like that's how I should sound. Susan Tedeschi is one of my biggest influences of listening to how she approaches music. And it's totally different than country. It's like it's a different world, and I'm still learning how to adapt, but it's definitely where my voice, the tone, the texture, all of it kind of lives in that blues rock sound, and I have so much more like room to just do whatever I want, like whatever I want to. Like I always say I don't have a pretty voice. I think my voice it has a lot of rough around the edges. But in the blues rock, I mean, you listen to Chris Robinson, like you listen to him because of his voice.
Right,
you listen to the Black Crowes because of the cracks. You listen to it because of the way that he riffs and the way that he invests like his whole soul, his body, his everything into the way that he approaches a song. And like diving into the deep dives of the Black Crowes and Susan Tedeschi, and just hearing how they do things is it touches me in a way that like country music never could. And like I always relate to the songwriting of country music, and that will always be a place for me. But the way that like you could say 3 words in a song and have it mean like Robert Plant, and then just have it make you feel something.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how we approach this album, and with our future music, which we're currently writing the next album, is definitely going to drift way more towards that blues rock sound of just like letting your freak flag fly and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I remember that first show that we did together, like doing sound check. At the time I was still like running sound for the band, you know what I mean? And I'm out there like trying to get things set, and she's doing sound check, and she starts singing, and my dad was actually out at the show, and she opened her mouth, and him and I kind of turned and looked at each other like, because I honestly never heard her sing before I asked her to come out on the road. I just
Like,
know
man, I
that
hope
she
she can sing.
did.
Shot in the dark there.
And she opened her mouth, and I think it was like Hids Carolina, like that Jody Messina song. And I was like, she sounded like she had that frog in her throat, like ribbit, ribbit, like, you know, like Jeremiah was in there. And I was like, hold on, this is it. Like, we got to get her. I got to get her listening to the Black Crowes. And, I mean, it's been a lot of fun being able to see her go from really like a girl with her guitar to like a bona fide front woman in a rock band. Like, she fully embraced it from day one and was like, this is me now, and I'm going to do this. And it's honestly been magical just to kind of see her develop and become the force that she is. Like, I hope, you know, hopefully next time we play in Nashville, we can have you guys out to the show, and because that's like our thing. Like the live show is like that's where that's our thing.
And it's crazy because like with trying to do all of this and giving it just a good college try, like there's not a lot of like when it comes to front woman, there's not too many influences that I can look to and try and model after. Heart's one that like I'm like, okay, that's a bona fide front woman, like he said, and it's been a lot, like it's trial and error. I feel like every show we play, we turn a new page, and we're always trying to like, you know, just try different things and like just shoot for the stars and hopefully reach the moon. Like it's very very much that with our live shows, and that's why it's so exciting. And like there's nothing off limits to us when it comes to like, I'll make a fool of myself. I'll walk around with a cane and an umbrella on stage, and like I'm not gonna care about it because or just give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we've always kind of ran by that motto, and I think that contributes a lot to our live show. And
if we can think it, we try it.
We try,
and
at least
sometimes
once.
it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But we always have fun when we do it. So
Have you ever had something just disastrously not work?
all the time,
almost all the time. Yeah, we. I'm trying to think about. I mean, like in the early stages, again with no experience of singing with a live band and like trying to front that, it was very much like I'm just swinging for the fences here. I don't really know how to use my voice yet, like with a band and like work around a band and
we were also playing like 4-hour shows, and we only knew like 8 songs. So we would just let it rip and jam, and then we'd play like Here for the Party or something, and Megan would sing her butt off, and we'd jam for another 20 minutes and then do something else. But yeah, it's all been trial and error and just figuring out what works and what will stick. And a lot of it has and some of it hasn't. But I will say, like with Alex and Michael, anytime you bring somebody new into it, and these are really it's the first time we've been able to have like full-time members that are like included in what we're doing. So it's been super, super cool to see like the evolution of the band with their influences and, along with what we've been working on for the last, 5 years, like just figuring it all out and having it come together. And there's some nights where it's like, it's magic and it all just works. And there's some nights where you struggle through it and it is what it is. But, I always say, like, we might not be the best band you ever come and see live, but we have more fun than anybody. And we really enjoy what we do. We're blessed to do what we love with people we love. And we're going to keep on cracking at it. And hopefully one of these days we'll find that secret formula where things just work and happen. But
and with this last record, I mean, I feel like with Jukebox Gypsies, we tapped into a new part of the band and were able to kind of set a solid foundation of things that we wanted to do. And our producer, Stephen McNaught, he did a great job of, it was just us, me, Dylan, and Stephen, who all just built this album together. We didn't really have any other solid members at the time. And with this next album, starting to tap into Alex's like influences and the way that he approaches songs is going to like, the new songs are going to be in the same realm, but much different. Of like, I think it's more owning our craft, and I mean, it's a sophomore record, but we hope that like we're very excited about the new songs that are going to come out of this, and like being able to just kind of grow with ourselves and grow with the people who have been tuning in to us for the last 5 years and following what we're doing. So yeah. Very excited about it.
We're going to have you guys play another song.
Yeah.
What's the next song?
This song is called Partners in Crime, and it actually is drawn from a poem that Bonnie Parker wrote in prison. So it's called
Bonnie Parker is...
Bonnie Parker.
Are you sure there was no murder?
I'm sure that we have not murdered anyone.
Are we on the record right now?
Allegedly.
But yes, it's called Partners in Crime. And I hope you guys like it. It's our acoustic version. Never done it before.
First time.
Awesome.
Silent Jackson is to life on the run. She was guilty of a jaded heart, a broken innocence had just begun. Her side was a gal of rare beauty, though her features were coarse and tough. Her southern charm was a siren song, and Jack couldn't get enough. He's running out of money and time, searching for his partner in crime. She sold her soul to a night in Rust They're never made for two. Surrounded by 45s, do what they had to do. Oh, hand in hand to the promised land, selling jacket through. They say goodbye to money and time. Live and die, partners in
We do have one question that we
Oh,
ask
no.
every guest.
Has there been anybody we didn't ask?
Yeah, actually, the very first episode we forgot.
Oh no.
Now, if you had to
I'm
choose,
stressed.
Sorry, I'm burping.
That's
That
why you
was
played
the
the sound,
cover-up.
right?
And you do.
and you do.
I'm scared.
Did the sound stop by itself? The important thing to note about this question
Terrified.
is the answer must not come from here.
And this is a great time to mention, I'm looking straight at the camera. If you are listening to this, you could be watching it. You could see everybody's rocking. Would you say your outfits are 70s inspired? That's the energy I get.
I went with like a. I would say so. Yeah.
She picked mine out, so I'm just here.
I feel like everybody looks super 70s.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch that on Spotify and YouTube, you can. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking right at the camera to say, Jerry's pointing to his head.
Should we do it too?
The
Yeah,
answer
sure.
must come.
Okay, from the heart.
Oh,
He's pointing to his
these are my
heart.
favorite questions.
From the heart. Okay.
Now, if you had to choose,
I'm terrified.
And you do.
and you do.
Oh!
Now, what that actually means, coming from your heart and not your head,
Yeah.
is I need an answer quickly.
Immediately.
Okay.
I don't want you to think about it.
Okay.
I want the first thing that
Do we
comes
both do this at the
Same
same
time.
time?
Yeah.
And
And since
You
you're
wanna see who
married,
can
we
do it
spent a
faster,
lot of
Megan
time
Kane?
together.
You want to see who can do answer faster?
Yes,
All right.
you
Come on.
absolutely
Yeah.
should.
It's a race.
Now, if you had to choose,
And you do.
and you do, what would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Oh, definitely a box turtle.
I don't know any turtle's name right now. I forgot turtles existed. Okay. You can't put me on the spot
I
like
believe
that.
the answer was Turtle Swift. For you.
And turtle
There you go. There you go.
Honestly, mine would have been C. The C turtle.
turtle.
The sea
Yeah,
turtle.
we get sea turtle a lot. We get box turtle a lot. That's good.
See, I'm
That's
from
good.
Maryland, so I definitely should have said a terrapin, but I swung and I missed. So
Yeah.
sometimes that happens.
I do really enjoy seeing the panic in everybody's eyes.
I've never,
It's like my favorite.
Yeah.
I've never been more stressed in my life. So.
Glad we could do that for you.
The build up to the question is the only part of it I really like about
Dude,
it.
you
I
gotta
don't care
start
about
putting
what
a
turtle.
The
heart
question
meter on
sucks, but the
people.
rest of it's great.
Oh man.
That sucker was pumping through the roof right there. I was
I
like,
didn't calm
where are they
down.
going with this?
Bring in the others. Bring in the others. I'm done.
As anyways, guys, thanks for coming to hang out. You guys are awesome, and we'll see y'all next time.
You know that talk is cheap. I need the top